Um,
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the WADcast episode number 70. This is the Writers, Actors, Directors podcast. And all of those spots on a set in between, we celebrate you all, those that bring us all of our favorite entertainment. I'm Josh, here as always, from the guy that loves to be interrupted mid-sentence with opening credits, Brandon.
what is up, everybody? Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, sorry. I was the reason for our tardiness today because I was a little tardy in my time management skills today. So if you're
So many
politically
tardies.
correct and you got that little pun, I don't know what to say. So, but we're here and we're live.
Yes, we are.
So,
How you doing, Brandon? It's been a while.
yeah, it's been 1 week since you spoke to me. You know, cocked your head to the side and said, "I'm sorry." No, I've been good. I've been just working a lot, writing while working. I don't recommend it.
Working in bare naked lady puns.
Okay. I have not been to any place with bare naked ladies in a long time, Josh, and you know that. Oh, you mean the band? The band?
Yeah,
band.
No.
No.
The Canadian soft rock band.
Oh God. Yeah, say what you want. Those guys are awesome. They were like one of my favorite. Like their soundtrack was like.
Say what I want. They're a
No, I mean like for
band.
anyone. I mean
guys.
anyone can say what they want about those guys, but those guys were like just a big part of my high school education.
It's not like they're your other band, Nickelback.
Oh God, no. Canada can keep Nickelback, but like I told someone else, I had this argument with somebody the other day. This guy in I posted. I think you saw that thing I posted in the on that Facebook group that we're in, where it's just like at the end of Spider-Man, No Way Home.
yeah, I saw that.
I bet we better see Chad Kroeger step up on the ledge of a building with his guitar and start singing. They say a hero can save us. I'm not going to stand here and wait. It's a very bad impersonation because it's a bad impersonation, but I don't sound like I'm taking a duker when I'm singing like Chad Kroeger does. But
That's true,
this
but
one,
we also don't want the copyright strike, so
yeah, it's okay. Well, I mean, it's a very bad rendition, so I think that they'll actually let us go like for pity. But but this one guy is telling me like, yeah, well, we don't want Chad Kroeger. America can have him since you love him so much. I told him, no, you can keep him as long as you guys can acknowledge the fact that you gave the world Chad Kroeger and we gave the world Creed. Your guy sounds like he's taking a Duke whenever he's singing. Our guy sounded like the Swedish chef from the Muppets whenever he sang. So you couldn't understand a damn word that Scott Stapp, I think his name was.
Yeah.
You couldn't understand what he was singing. Yeah. I would say we can sing Creed and not worry about getting slapped with any legal things because no one knows what the hell we're singing. But Scott knows, and that's what's important.
They're talking about me.
Oh my God, I'm relevant again.
My Google alerts just went off.
Oh God, could you imagine if we had him on the show and he heard the opening to this episode, and he's on the show and he's seething? It's like, I need an apology, guys, because I'm not that bad of a singer. I'm like, well, I mean, you're not that great of a singer either.
I'll apologize.
Just you know what? Just do it without even singing. It's like, what was that? It's like, well, I'm matching your talents. Oh man, I know that we talk about supporting artists and everything else, but guys, give us a break. It's Creed.
We're allowed to take the piss out every now and then. You know what I'm saying?
At least I stopped talking about Betty White. Oh, Betty White. But you know.
Hey, I'll be the first to admit, I was singing those Jesus tracks back in the day. Creed was a Christian band.
You know, I sang I sang with Arms Wide Open one time at a karaoke night, but
No,
I
not
sang it in the way that I make fun of the band. I get, and this is back in the Jacksonville days, back when I lived in Jacksonville Beach over at Habibi, like when you and I would meet up over there.
Mhm.
They had a karaoke night, so I sing with Arms Wide Open. Um, and I remember I got off stage and I was expecting to get people like, I saw the few people that were laughing. And I even said, I was like, yeah, I'm about to sing a song by the Swedish Chef from the Muppets. And then, like, when Arms Wide Open comes on. But I'm singing it like just making fun of him. Like I'm singing like this. I get off the stage and I had these people come. I was like, "You sounded just like him. That was awesome." I'm like, "Okay, you enjoyed it? Oh, that was awesome, dude. Yeah, bro, that was really good." I'm like, "Oh my god." Okay. Oh, good times. I miss Jacksonville.
I'm more of an old school Creed guy.
I'm just saying, like Jacksonville is the home of such other fine bands like Limp Bizkit. You know,
You mean when they take it to the Matthews Bridge?
in the words of Deadpool, I'm about to do to you what Limp Bizkit did to rock in the '90s.
Again,
Oh man,
I can't even front, as the kids would say. I was into angry white boy music way back when. I was like, I'm so angry, but I don't know why.
were you one of those people listening to Korn? I was like, "This is my life."
No, but I will admit to being a self-described juggalo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
Well,
was one of them.
well, you see, like the thing is, what I will say is that bands like Limp Bizkit and even Insane Clown Posse and all them, these are very self-made musicians. These people came from nothing. They really, they really did. Like, I mean, Fred Durst.
Before you segue, um, I
I
realized,
thought that was such a smooth segue and transition in what we were talking about, but you had to ruin it. Go ahead.
yeah, because what do what do ICP and Creed have in common?
They both suck.
They're both Christian bands.
Oh God.
When that Six Jokers card dropped, and they were like, "We were singing about Jesus." It's like, oh my god.
You know, one thing I will say, and it's my dad's ex-wife now, so I can say this because she never listens to the show. I will say this: my father's ex-wife, Cheryl, a really sweet lady, born again Christian, which no judgment here, judge not, but still, she, me and my brother one summer we were like 14, 15 years old, and we're listening to my brother rather is listening to Creed, a Christian band. Cheryl was so hardcore into Christianity that she came out into the living room where we're listening to this music while we're cleaning the house. And she tells my brother to turn off that satanic music because she could feel the evil from the music entering her soul and hurting her. It was causing her physical pain in her soul. So my brother's like, okay, that's fine. And he turns it off. And he comes out with this other CD. I'm like laughing. Like, she's going to kill you, dude. And he puts on Marilyn Manson. And it was his cover for Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. And
good song.
He looks at the show. He's like, "Oh, is that better?" It's like, that is so much better. Like, he's like, he's like, so Creed, a Christian rock band, is evil, but the self-proclaimed Antichrist is good. Well, now we know where your allegiance is. Idiot got himself grounded for the summer. But either way, so as I was segueing, these musicians are very self-made, and they're not the only. Whenever you hear about like any kind of singer or actor or director or whoever in the industry who is self-made, there's it's a fascinating story. It really is. Um, and there are actors that came here with nothing in their pockets. That came here. Taraji, what is her name?
Taraji P. Henson.
Is that her name?
Could
The
be.
actress? Okay. All right. I don't want to disrespect her because I actually admire her. She was the actress in The Best of Enemies. It's been a lot of things. She's been in quite a few things actually, but she came here with nothing but maybe like I think a few $100 in her pocket
And
with her child.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, with her child, living out of a car, and a dream. You have your closing statements at the end of each show, where you talk about the only thing getting in your way is you, and this woman is pretty much like a personification of those talks. She
was
came
inspired by
to
this
Los
show.
Angeles. Yep, exactly. She knew the show would be out there someday. So years ago, she preemptively took our advice without knowing that we existed or that we were going to exist. And she moved to California with nothing. And there's a few stories like that. There's a few stories where people like really paved their own way down what is known as the Boulevard of Broken Dreams and actually made their dreams work for them. I tell people like when I find out they're like acting or they're trying to get in the industry or they're trying to be stand-up comics or they're even like aspiring musicians, like just do it, bust your own ass, make sure you get your name out there. Because there's tons of stories of people who Taraji P. Henson, you're right, yeah, Taraji P. Henson. There are tons of people who have made it just by busting their asses. Sometimes it's being in the right place at the right time, but a lot of them are actually just out here doing their thing. And just like that, though, there are people who have found that success that somehow managed to completely squander it through their own actions, their own behavior, whatever you want to call it. But we're on the rising path to pure stardom. Household names, and some of them still very much are household names, but they are some of the easiest celebrities to procure for what you like, for low budget productions because they are virtually broke. But so like that's what we're talking about today, guys. We're talking about celebrities from like actors who came from absolutely nothing. So I know Josh, we kind of like did this last minute, but
yeah, a little bit.
I just thought it was a really, really good topic to go off of. Now, do you know of any actors that came from nothing? Because we already discussed Taraji P. Henson. Do you have any like actors that you can think of that came from nothing?
Well, I'm going to toss this out there. Harrison Ford. Because if I'm not mistaken, he was a carpenter before he started acting and decided to give acting a shot. And then nobody ever heard of him again.
Well, that's the thing. Harrison Ford didn't even decide to give acting a shot with him. He was pretty much he was just reading lines for George Lucas for the part for different parts, and he was reading lines for Han Solo. Because Han Solo initially, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Han Solo was initially supposed to be he was like an alien or something.
I have no idea. Was I right about the carpenter thing?
Yeah, he was a carpenter. He was working as a carpenter on the set of Star Wars at first. But
so he's like literally building the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
George is like, hey.
How would you like to fly that ship?
With a hammer. We're missing our guy here. Can you read for him? Can you do that for you? Know how to read, right? Yeah, I can read. All right, hold on. And history is made.
See, kids, it never hurts to go to a trade school. You never know where it's going to take you. and now Harrison Ford says he rolls his eyes whenever he hears the Indiana Jones theme. So
that's why he's doing another one.
Well, he wanted for an award one time, and like they played the Indiana Jones song, he was like, God, that song just follows me everywhere.
You know, we give that advice every week to stop getting your own and stop getting in your own way. Like these words are getting in the way of my mouth. And one thing that could be added to that bit of advice is don't be afraid to say yes. If an opportunity comes up, don't go, I'm not ready, or don't go, I'm too nervous. Just blindly say yes because you
Yeah.
never know what that opportunity is going to lead to. Say
Yep.
yes. Do you want, hey, can you read these lines? Yeah. Hey, can you hold this? Yeah. Hey, you want to do lots of drugs? Yeah. Wait, it couldn't hurt. But just never be afraid to say yes to an opportunity.
Absolutely. You have like actors like I think one of my favorite stories, and it's only because the movie was so like so synonymous with the actor's own life. Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone is very self-made. Like that man, like just a history of the script for Rocky. Okay, like I mean, just like while he was shopping around for the years he was shopping around, this is a man who was living in his car. He sold his dog because he had no money to eat. So I forget how much, but he sold his dog for however much
He
so he
beat
could
his
continue
dog.
to like I feel like a horrible person because like I've made jokes about how if I was broke and struggling and everything else, Indiana's going to look really delicious to me. But I'm like, you know what? Sylvester Stallone sold his dog.
But he
Now I
was
would
also
never eat
in
my dog.
some he was in some classic movies pre-Rocky also. Death Race 2000.
Yeah. No, but it's like, but the thing is, like he was pretty much he had nothing to his name, and a lot of situations happened to where, like, I believe that he even directed Rocky, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, so because he wanted to direct it, he wanted to act in it. All these things happened, and he wanted to do it because it'd be cheaper for him to be the actor and the director of this movie. He was doing anything he could to get this movie to happen. And really, like the whole movie, like most of it could be done for like a very low budget because it's not until like really the very end that he would need a massive audience and crowd because this isn't modern times where they could just CGI in a shit ton of people. This is like they needed an actual boxing ring, like a professional like match looking scene. But he really went out there and he got this to happen. Um, but yeah, it's like, I mean, I love his story. To this day, he remains to be a very humble guy. He will talk to people. He will like joke with people. He loves his fan base, and like what you do, like what both of us do, he encourages, like even like what Kevin Smith does. He encourages people to get their voice out there, and I think it's awesome. Like I think it's absolutely amazing that he does that. But he is the embodiment of just make it happen. Just go out there and get it done. Um, but there's other people. Um, I think one of my second favorite, and actually it's also very very tragic though, is Shia LaBeouf. I mean, like with him, his parents. For those of you listening that don't know this, and I'm saying this, I'm covering this because Josh is stepping away for a second. Um, he came from nothing. He came from nothing. What he came from was two artist parents whose dreams were never realized. And if you've never seen this movie, I think it's called Pony Boy. Watch it. He wrote this while he was in a rehab center, and it's a beautiful film um, about a child actor that's being pushed by his failed failed artist of a father, in which he plays the father figure. And it's such a sad story, but it's satisfying at the same time because he's really he went a long way with his acting, despite any kind of situations he might have found himself in. he has actually made himself something. Even today, he may not be thought of too fondly by some people, but he is a very, very self-made person. Further proof that you can do anything you want to do if you really, put yourself out there and try to get it done. Now, he was pushed
Hmm.
by his parents, but he went through a lot of things. As he got famous, the fame got to him, not like to like inflate his ego, but it really started getting to him with substance abuse and legal altercations, things of that nature. But he went on to be very, very successful. Now, I think like the whole method acting, like him playing whatever it was in that movie where he got himself a full chest tattoo because the character in the script had a chest tattoo. Yeah, it's pushing a little too far, but it's like a little mini Danny Trejo there. But yeah, Josh, what do you
Well,
have to add?
that's kind of what you've come to expect from Wilder Valderrama. You know what?
Oh Lord.
So yeah, that's absolutely right. The things that you were saying, and I will add to that by saying that yeah, it's it's a long, tough road, especially if you don't have the backing that a lot of other people have. There are guys that have gotten very far in this business, not because of their talent, but because of people they know. And that's why I think this topic was a good idea to talk about some of the people that didn't have that extra leg up, that uncle that produced for such and such, or that
Yeah,
cousin
the
that
non
knows
Miley
a guy.
Cyruses and the non Jonah Hills and stuff like that.
I mean, let's look at Nicolas Cage real quick, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. His. Oh yeah. I mean, his uncle, his family name alone.
He's a Coppola,
Yep.
but if I'm not mistaken, his story goes he changed his name
To not be affiliated with them.
to so he could make something for himself.
But I believe, like actually, like early on, I forget what movie. Was it Fast Times at Ridgemont High? Like it was something where he was in it, but he was Nicholas Coppola before he decided to, I guess, forsake his namesake to really make something for himself. And he was doing great until the whole IRS thing happened, and he just started taking whatever roles he could take.
That's the weird part about Nicolas Cage, right? His career went from ungodly talent to oh my god, why is he in that? All the way back
I
around
mean,
to oh my god, whatever he's in, it's either so insanely bad it's good, or just insanely good.
well, I mean, I'll tell you one thing. The last two movies I've seen with Nicolas Cage in them. I'll go so far as to say three. The third one, no, I'm not really my cup of tea, but it was entertaining enough. But with Pig and with Willy's Wonderland, I
Rock
will
and
say
roll.
this: Nicolas Cage was brilliant in both those movies. I was blown away by the movie Pig. It was so sad, but it was Nicolas Cage at his best with his dramatic performance, like what he did with City of Angels and everything else. Like I mean, how he was actually acting again.
Mhm.
And Willy's Wonderland, he had to act because he had no lines. That was all Nicolas Cage being just Nicolas Cage without speaking. Um, but it was still entertaining. Um, and then there was that movie Mom and Dad with him and Selma Blair. I don't know if you've seen that,
No.
but it's a movie about every parent. Something happens, some kind of like virus gets out. I forget exactly what it's been like minutes that I've seen it, but something happens where something snaps in the parents and they are immediately drawn towards murdering their own children. It gets graphic too, because you see parents actually kill their own kids. Nicolas Cage and Selma Blair are both the entire movie. Well, after the opening gets through and it all gets underway, they are just trying to kill their children. That's all they're trying to do, and the kids are trying to get away from them from their parents. Um, but the parents aren't they're not drawn towards killing other children. They just want to kill their own children. So they're super nice to other kids. They're horrified by the fact that parents are killing their other kids. But once these parents are in their rooms with their children, they snap and they want to kill them. But it's funny because you hear Nicolas Cage like, "Honey, are you home? It's Daddy." And he's holding like like a weapon. He's like, "I need to speak to you. Get your asses out here. You're grounded. You're going to kill them, man." But yeah, I mean that's a great example. I mean, do you have any like examples of what he went through to get to where he currently is?
No. I remember seeing Peggy Sue Got Married for the first time this year.
It's actually a good movie, yeah. A very good movie.
Because it reminds me of just some of the daydreams that I often, have of going back to high school where I know everything I do now and the things I would do and whether or not they would be felonies. It's
If I could go back to high school during the time in which I was in high school, I would do it. If I was turned into a kid today, I would never leave the damn house.
Coward. But I was talking about going back to the 90s.
Gotcha, okay. Back when it was still fun to be a kid.
You know nothing of what it's like to be a kid today, Brandon.
I know that there's too much online stuff that pretty much is not only separating people, but it's also really kind of keeping, like I guess like it has like a divide even amongst like kids. Like I miss being able to go out and just play all night long and do my own thing. Going on dates and not worrying about someone staring at a phone the entire time. But that's a different topic for a different kind of podcast. That's like a dating podcast for like, teenagers.
Which we are definitely not qualified to host.
Nope, I have not been a teenager in God.
At least a couple weeks.
Yeah, like 20 years.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
It has been 20 years since I've been a teenager.
Away at it. It's not
19.
No, stop it.
19 left in 2001.
Stop it.
I was no longer. No, I'm sorry. No, 19 left in 2002. That's right.
So let's talk about Adam Sandler.
Yeah, that's another self-made comedian.
The guy, okay. You want to talk self-made and success. This is a guy that released his own, comedy albums, which, by the way, hilarious. No one seems to remember them.
Oh, Piece of Shit Car song's a classic.
Yeah, Ode to My Car was the name of it. From the What the Hell Happened to Me album. Hey, I love those albums, man. They're awesome. They're all going to laugh at you.
I just, like the piece of shit, like Ode to the Car is like in every karaoke place right now. It got no CD player. It only got an 8-track. Whoever made my piece of shit car can lick my hairy nutsack. Like, I love that song.
It's a classic for sure. I could do a whole
like all this hits about him
just on talking about those albums.
Oh yeah, all this skit about him, like the skit about him being like a goat.
The talking goat, yeah.
The talking goat. Oh man, you kids will know nothing about this album, but we are going to recommend it because he is an actor and a comedian.
Yes.
And the days of buying a CD in a store and rocking it out, thankfully, are coming back. Like with like vinyls and everything else, like. I think they need to have like a full album of all of his, all of his releases.
I'd buy it on vinyl, and I don't even have a record player. It's just he went from he's doing this stuff. He's doing SNL, and then next thing you know, Billy Madison strikes.
Yep.
And then Happy Gilmore. And then suddenly, he's like doing his own production company, and he quietly becomes one of the most influential people in the business.
Yep.
Not because of his movies, but because the things that his production company, Happy Madison, is putting out. The Goldbergs is one of the most revered currently running television shows on TV, and that
I really need to watch that show. I've not watched it yet. I hear great things about it. I've just never gotten around to it. I mean, but I'm also just getting around to watching Arrested Development. So
it took me a while to get on board the Goldbergs, not because I was any. I don't know. There was no reason for me not to watch the Goldbergs. I just never did.
yep,
But as soon as I did, I was in
yep.
because
But
I can relate to being the guy that is just so enamored with 80s pop culture
yeah,
because
yeah.
I was there for it.
And it's like, and there's, but it's like I do have a I have one, and it's like, she's from like she's like a member of the younger generation. Like the I think I think she's like a late millennial. I think she's born like the late '90s, something like that. But Selena Gomez. She's from a small town in Texas. Her mom and her like struggled. Like this girl had to scrounge around for gas money just to help out. Um, she did a lot. She had a lot of struggles ahead of her. Um, but like these other people, she had a dream to be a successful entertainer, and she went on to get a part in that TV show Witches of Waverly Place, I believe it was called in Disney. Um, and she had a few things happen before that, but like that was her breakout role that led to other roles. But she also ended up trying her hand at singing. Found success with that too. And like today, she's a self-made, very wealthy young woman that had zero backing, none.
Didn't she
And
get, well, she had, the House of Mouse backing her for a little while.
well, but what I'm saying is like before she got to that, she came from nothing,
Right.
like absolutely nothing. And like not to say she didn't have a caring parent. Her mom was like like to my understanding, her mom worked her ass off for the kids, but she did a lot for herself. Like she like of course with her mom's encouragement to really get things to happen, but she really, really hustled and she became something. And I remember I was talking to somebody about this the other day because I was writing up this list of people while I was working, and they were asking like, well, like you're going to talk about Selena Gomez? Like I'll talk about anyone that like makes a name for themselves. I may not care for Tom Cruise, but that guy sure as hell did not have it easy. Like I think he was disowned by his parents. I want to say disowned, and he rid himself of his parents' name. He got a manager in New York. He moved into his manager's apartment that he signed on with nothing more than a duffel bag and a guitar. That's what he had when he was a kid. Like he was pretty much abandoned by his parents. He might be a psycho right now. He's definitely like off his rocker, but he put himself out there and he really busted his ass for what he has going for him right now.
Who did?
Um, huh?
Who did?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Okay. I had no idea Tom Cruise had such a troubled background.
Oh yeah, yeah. He got in trouble as a teenager and all this stuff. His dad pretty much abandoned. His dad walked out on him. His mom pretty much abandoned him. So yeah, he's pretty much been on his own since he was a teenager. Started struggling with dyslexia. Like he's, and for an actor, I'll tell you right now, that cannot be easy because you have to read those scripts and everything else. Like I mean, that cannot be an easy thing to struggle with while you're studying up for a role. But yeah,
I
it's
have
like
one.
oh, go ahead. Who do you got?
And we talked about Peggy Sue got married. And by the way, I will say it was interesting seeing that Nicolas Cage having the body of work that he does, and then going back and watching his first, film performance, seeing the choice of voice that he made was like really weird because you recognize instantly, Oh, yeah, he definitely made a choice here. And I'm wondering what it would have felt like for an audience back then to see it for the first time, to see Nicolas Cage for the first time and go, "Oh, that guy has such a weird voice." And yeah, yeah, that was. Anyway, I digress. Jim Carrey also was in that movie, and he was also having a hard time with life up until he got cast in Living Color. Struggling, if I'm not mistaken, he was homeless at one point, and when he got the role for In Living Color, things turned around for him. He became a standout on the show due to many of his characters, including Fire Marshal Bill, and that, of course, led to the Jim Carrey that we know today as the guy that talks out of his butt and chases down pets, wears a green mask. Is green face racist? I'm not sure. But he clearly found a path that worked for him, and it involved not giving up. It involved continuing to move forward, and he made it. Again, not going to say it works for everybody because that's why these are the exceptions, the standouts to the rule. But the people that give up will never be talked about. Only by persevering and trying to scratch that, demanding from yourself that your dreams come true, can you even think about reaching that pinnacle of success? Wouldn't you say? I'm going to say you agree with me. And I don't think I would be incorrect in that.
Hey, okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why the hell that happened. Okay, my computer just went mute. Okay, well, it's like Bill Burr. He was approached by someone um on a at like an award ceremony or at like an award ceremony or something like that. But he was approached by this woman, and she was like, "Do you think women are funny?" He was like, "What the hell kind of question is that?" So of course women are funny. Like, oh, what does that have to do with anything? She was like, "Well, there's a lot of people that think that women are funny." It's like, no, that's not. Like, he's like, that's not true. He says all you have to do is you have to have something, put it out there, and hope that people respond to it. That's all. That's all there. That's all it is. It's all a matter of just luck and what you're putting out there. And I'm like, that like it resonated with me when he said that. I'm like, that's actually very truthful because there's a movie that Bill Burr was in with Pete Davidson called The King of Staten Island. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
I have not.
I recommend it because Pete Davidson is a perfect example of someone that came from nothing. And not only has he come from nothing, but he comes from a lot of trauma. Um, for those of you that do not know, Pete Davidson, he is a comedian on Saturday Night Live. If you follow the Kardashians, I'm sure that you know who Pete Davidson is, as he is currently, having happy adult fun time with Kim somewhere as we speak.
How
It
does
is
that
Friday night.
happen?
You know what? Maybe Kanye was a little bit too much for her. But
Pete Davidson's not?
but the thing that cracks me up is that Kanye and Pete Davidson had their own little feud because of Pete Davidson calling him out on Saturday Night Live on their weekend updates. But he called him out a little while ago, and now he's hooking up with Kanye's estranged wife. But the thing is, like, getting back to the topic though, Pete Davidson, he's someone that came from nothing. His father was a firefighter who died in the attacks in 9/11.
Uh-huh.
And so he grew up traumatized by that because, from what I understand, he and his father were very close. Like they were, like, I mean, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe he still lives at home with his mom, or like until recently, he still lived at home with his mom. Because Saturday Night Live is in New York. His mom lives in New York. Like that's where he grew up. But the thing is still he came from nothing, and like he's turned this trauma into a driving force for him. There's even I think during his roasts, Pete Davidson's roast that was on Comedy Central. I forget the comedian. It was a British comedian that said that people need to stop making fun of Pete Davidson's father. He was like, "This is not the roast of his father. That happened in 9/11." And you would expect this guy to be like upset by that. But Pete Davidson was like, okay, you know what? That was a good one. Like, I mean, just owned it. And like that's what I'm saying. Like, so even if you guys come from some kind of drama, some kind of traumatic events, you have two options. You can either do everything you can use it as a driving force, or you can let it define your reasons as to why you're not going to do something. He's an example of what happens when you use it and you use it in the right way. He turned it into stand-up comedy.
I will say this: I love what Pete Davidson does. He's one of my favorite reasons to watch SNL, and I enjoy very thoroughly the things that he puts out into the world creatively.
Yeah.
And there's no but. These are just facts.
Oh
I
yeah.
like Pete Davidson, and I know it sounds like I'm kind of taking a dig when I when I say like Pete Davidson's not just throwing things out there like Kanye West does. He's not in the same way anyway. But one of the things that I admire about that guy is Pete, not Kanye, is his ability to just display himself. He is himself. That at least that's what it seems to me. He is 100% himself in a world where everybody is basically so many things to so many people. And the fact that he can be that, he can be authentic no matter what the foibles are, no matter what conditions he has going on mentally, the fact that he wears it all on his sleeve and is not only successful because I consider what he's doing success, but also thriving in both career and in personal life. I mean, what can you say? Not many people get to be who they are 100% of the time, right? And successful. There are so many people out there that even show the slightest hint of a crack in their celebrity facade, and it's over for them because they spent years creating perfection. They spent years creating this personality that really doesn't exist. Look at what happened to Will Smith, right? Another guy that really built up his career, one through music, and then transitioning that into television and then movies. And now he is, in my opinion, after watching King Richard, an instant front runner to an Academy Award next year. But his personal life gets blown up in the tabloids.
Oh yeah.
Every little thing that either he or his wife says is put under a microscope, and all you see is just rampant judging and judging and judging. Pete Davidson, he puts it all out there himself.
Oh
He's like,
yeah.
judge me. I don't care.
No, you
Because
know,
at the end of the day, he's going to be Pete Davidson.
yeah, Pete Davidson, his entire career is, I was watching 8 Mile the other week, and it's just like our conversation about Pete Davidson. It reminds me of that very final rap battle in that movie when
Eminem's character just lays everything out there about himself, and then he throws his microphone at the other guy, at Michael B. Jordan's character, and he's like, "Here, tell these people something they don't know about me." That's Pete Davidson right there. He does not care. He puts everything out there.
Takes away the ammunition from the critics.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is there is, and here's my one per episode, no fucks given on his end. He does not care.
Not one.
Like, his humor is his humor. As long as he's laughing, he's happy. And not many people really understand that. They think that it's I've heard people say he's very insensitive towards what people think. And myself, as someone that comes from a level of trauma and personal loss, I'll tell you right now, that is something that you learn to use as a way to cope. Like, you take every ounce of stuff that would be offensive to you and you just throw it out the window. You just learn to embrace everything. You learn really quickly, like, it's all just a joke. Everything's just a joke. It's humor. People are going to be offended by the most innocent of jokes. Brian Regan is a very clean comedian, yet people get offended by him. He doesn't attack anyone, but people get offended by him. You're going to offend people regardless. So you might as well just go out there and just do your best to, be yourself. Like I said with Bill Burr, put yourself out there and hope that people hope it resonates with people. Hope that people respond to it. So it's just like, it's one of those deals where he does that. And so, like, for him, coming from like trauma, loss, and everything else, growing up with that kind of stuff, being very open about still seeing therapists and being medicated sometimes. He's someone I admire that. Like, I really admire, like, his level of gumption that he has towards just making it like what he's turned himself into, and also retaining that he came from a very specific background. Like, he talks very openly about his background. He's not forgotten where he's from. So I think that's awesome. But this is not the Pete Davidson show, though. This this is a show with other people
It
involved.
should be.
But then you also have celebrities on the same on that same topic. You have celebrities that came from money, that claim to be from nothing. And some of these celebrities that I'm going to talk about are singers, but they've also been actors or actresses, whatever. And they claim to, pretty much be from humble beginnings. Kid Rock has acted in a few things, and he has this image that, and people like my conservative family members love Kid Rock because he came from nothing. Well, he really
Did
didn't.
you see that his terrible new music video?
I have not. No,
It's the
no, I'm
worst.
not a Kid Rock fan. I didn't even like Kid Rock back when he was popular in the late '90s. I've never really been a Kid Rock person at all, buddy.
I got down with the bada bang bang diggy diggy said the boogie said I'm to the boogie. What, just me?
Yeah, no. It's I never got into it. Like, and honestly, it's like I didn't watch it for him. That little guy that he toured with, that guy made him. So, but the Kid
What was
Rock,
his name? Joe C,
also,
something like that.
Huh?
Joe C.
I think so.
That was his name,
But
right?
like,
I don't remember.
Kid Rock, also known as Robert James Ritchie, came from very, very wealthy parents. Like, I mean, with him, he came from a very, like, I'll put it this way.
That explains a lot.
His father's home. It was like a 5,628 square foot home on 6 acres of land. This guy, like, there was a pool, a guest house with a pool. There was a gazebo. There was like horses, all kinds of stuff. Like, I mean, just really big. Like, he got into like, hip hop and break dancing in the 1980s, and he went on and became an actor from there in certain things. But I mean, I guess we could talk about like celebrities that came from wealthy, that came from so that didn't have to struggle, or we could talk about celebrities. Because as when I told Josh last week, we didn't have, I had no preparation for last week. I had no idea what to talk about, even how to relay what I was going to say last week. So since then, I wrote down like 10 or 11 lists. just in case I needed to come up with something, which is what happened tonight.
We did have a guest scheduled to be here tonight, but
We did.
due to unforeseen circumstances, they had to back out at the last moment. But hopefully we will get something rescheduled soon. So for that reason, I'm not going to announce who it was. So sorry, Tom Hanks. I mean, crap.
But I mean, it's like, so how about this? I also have a list of Hollywood stars who had everything that became, I don't want to say nothing, but fell really far from that spotlight where they were very successful.
The fall from grace.
Yes, and I have one. And the very first one is one we already spoke about, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, but he's back on the upswing.
He's making his way back. Yeah, he's making his way back. I mean, it's like his career has been like roller coaster. But he went from being like, like making like $40 million, in I think about 2009. I think he made like $40 million. But
now he's making 40 million movies.
Spender. Yeah, yeah, you got to pay off the tax man. But he's one of the biggest spenders in Hollywood. I mean, he's had multiple homes at one time, and like in one time, his cars, he collects rare artifacts. But because of this, he fell in debt with the IRS, and that led him to sell a lot of his personal belongings. Like even like he has like this man had a dinosaur skull. Like the man had a dinosaur skull at one. He owned a dinosaur skull in his house. Like imagine that conversation piece. Like I mean, I feel bad for the fact that I've had some weird conversation pieces in places I've lived in, but I've never had like a dinosaur skull.
Hey Nick, is that a dinosaur? Oh yes, you see.
This is a man that had his own yacht and everything else.
Probably a copy of Action Comics #1 because he is a Superman guy.
I would not doubt it.
I believe he named his kid Kal-El. If I'm not mistaken.
You know what? I'm happy with the name Junk. Like, but you have that. You have other celebrities like Johnny Depp, who, yeah, this man is. No one knows what happens behind closed doors. No one knows. What happens in a person's personal life, I believe, should be sorted out in their personal life. Should not affect what they do as in their career. But due to things with Amber Heard, Johnny Depp has lost a lot of work. A lot of work. And I think he was making like around let me see, I think it was like $30 million. Yeah. He was raking in $30 million for every Pirates of the Caribbean movie. And yeah, like I mean, just let's see, 2017 he owned 14 homes, an $18 million yacht, and 45 vehicles. So he said his financial team mishandled his millions and left him quote unquote broke. And I have to say, I put that in quotation marks because if I'm ever Johnny Depp broke, I'll be the happiest I've ever been in my life. So
his fall is more recent, though, within the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, but it's still list worthy.
Because 2018 he was in a Harry Potter spinoff.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in the new Death on the Nile movie, right?
I believe so, yeah. But it's like, and you have, you also have people like say like Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was this guy. I mean, Tu Wong Fu, Blade, Demolition
Passenger
Man.
57.
This guy was like a household name. Passenger 57. He was a household name.
Always been
like
on black.
But then things happen with him where He
IRS
failed
again.
to file a U.S. Tax returns. Yeah, the IRS. You can't mess with those guys. There's a line in the Batman
They took down
cartoon.
Capone.
Yeah, there is a line in the Batman movie, Batman cartoon series rather, where the Joker is scraping money together, and this guy's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Well, I owe the IRS X amount of dollars in back taxes, and if I don't do it, I'll go to jail." Like, it says, "What IRS?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm crazy enough to go up against Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you." The only thing the Joker feared was the IRS. But yeah,
And they
like,
would
you
get
gotta
him
pay your
too.
taxes.
They would get him too.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't even need Batman to bring him in. Like, look, they'll send their own guys after him. But yeah, like back in the '90s, he was one of the biggest actors in Hollywood. I mean, even Christ, New Jack City. If you guys have not seen the movie, watch it. Wesley Snipes was absolutely brilliant in his films. He was one of the best paid actors and one of the most popular actors. And to date, he's worth $10 million, and that's because he's slowly getting back into it. I think with his supporting roles in like the Expendables. But he did time in prison because of owing, the IRS. I forget like how long he was in prison, but he was away for a minute. So, I mean, Josh, who do you have?
No, I was looking up Wesley Snipes to see what he's been doing, and yeah, the sequel to Coming to America, Dolomite is my name. Both of them pretty good.
Can I actually put like I do have one actress on here that is
Okay.
the source of her own destruction. And you would think that she'd know better considering how long she's been in the industry. Kim Basinger. Yeah, these stars are worth like that, like had millions of dollars, such as herself. She had millions and millions of dollars. Her current net worth right now is at 1.2 million. And I don't compare anyone's success in accordance to what they have in the bank account. She may be happy with her acting and everything else. I highly doubt that she's happy as of late. But she screwed herself over when she tried to back out of boxing Helena. She was left for the lead role, contractually obligated and everything else. Due to breaching the contract, she was forced to pay $8.1 million, which led for her to file bankruptcy. And she hasn't really recovered from that since. But I mean, Josh, I've got one more if you want me to like cover this last one before you jump on with something else.
Go for it.
Lindsay Lohan.
Ooh.
You know what? Much like Shia LaBeouf, but much more self-destructive. She's an example of what fame can do to a child. Like with her, she was everywhere. Back in the late '90s, early 2000s, you knew who Lindsay Lohan was, and you were looking like if you were like a teenage girl or like a teenage boy, you were looking forward to what she was going to be in next. But she has pretty much destroyed her career. Like all but like she tried a few things. She was a very successful actress. Mean Girls, The Parent Trap, Herbie Fully Loaded. She's been in a couple things. Like, she's been in a lot of stuff actually. Freaky Friday. But she ended up having severe personal issues along with substance abuse issues, which I'm very happy that she finally got some kind of like, I guess, control over. Because like she was very infamous for her partying.
Mm-hmm.
But she had also destroyed her career by proving, if I'm not mistaken, I believe she was actually one of the actresses that was proving to be very difficult to work with. Like she showed up late all the time to set. She showed up. She would miss rehearsals, stuff like that. Like she just she didn't really care at all. And now she's trying really hard to get back into spotlight. And she's working at it. Like, so I don't know if she's on the upswing or if she is where she is. But Hollywood is volatile. It is very volatile. Doesn't take much for you to destroy everything that you've built. Once that happens, it's pretty much gone.
There could be a whole episode dedicated to the Disney kids that have turned into adults and just kind of lost the plot, so to speak.
Yep, that Boulevard of Broken Dreams. And even not just like Disney kids, but just kid actors in general. I mean, like, but you have actors that stepped away for specific reasons. Macaulay Culkin. But he's actually starting to make a name for himself again. Like, I mean, it's been years, but he's making a name for himself again. But even then, he stepped away, but he was good. Like, when he left the industry, when he stepped away from it, he still had a lot of money.
Did he?
But oh yeah, dude, he cared. No, his parents took a lot of his money, but then he what do you call it? Emancipated himself from them, and his money from then on was his money. So, I think after that happened, he had stepped away and he started keeping his own finances. But now he is still an icon to a lot of people that grew up with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people like, you know, our age. But a lot of younger people also know who he is too.
His little brother just did a pretty good job hosting SNL last week. It was a solid episode.
I don't ever watch SNL. I'm always usually getting ready to go to work when it's on. But I'll check it out. But
the episode with Jason Sudeikis was an absolute masterpiece.
Well, I mean, that man's a national treasure.
Yeah. Now for two countries.
You know, it was like
Ted Lasso.
Olivia Wilde. First off, I'm just going to say this, Olivia, you messed it up with me. You really did. We could have been special, but you never knew. You don't even know I exist. But to do what you did to Jason, how dare you? You have a very handsome, a hysterical, and very sweetheart of a person that you just got rid of for Harry Styles. How dare you? I can't. But Jason, buddy,
okay,
I love you. The world loves you. But yeah, I mean, it's like there's, I guess, in closing of all this, man. I mean, there's a lot of there are a lot of stories of people that made it from nothing, and there's a lot of stories of people that had everything and lost it all, whether it's of their own, of their own doing, or if it's just something that happened. Like, I mean, aging out of a process, such as like what's his the guy who played Screech? What was his name? Dustin Diamond. Who was also apparently kind of like an asshole on Saved by the Bell. So I mean,
he stabbed a guy on Christmas.
Oh man, but yeah, it's just like, I mean, you can have everything, you can lose everything, you can come from nothing and make something of yourself, and you can come from everything and just kind of just exist. I mean, you can have all the backing in the world and never really make yourself into what you truly want to be. Like Kid Rock, like, he likes acting. He wants to, like, he's talked about how he'd love to further his acting career. Guess what's not happening?
Yeah,
I think Joe Dirt was like the precipice of his acting career,
and it was a brilliant movie.
Yeah,
got to keep.
Thing is Kid Rock, you could have gotten anyone to play Kid Rock's character, though.
True. But at the time, he was part of the pop cultural zeitgeist.
I know. That's back when Ball with a Ball was really popular.
Mm-hmm. I went to his shows.
Never been to one. I worked security for a little bit way back when, just part time. Like I covered the Pussycat Dolls one time. Pussycat
I'm
Dolls
sure
and
you
Christina
did.
Aguilera. I got to meet them. I got to say hi, shake hands, and little pictures and everything. I have a picture somewhere of me with like the Pussycat Dolls and with Christina Aguilera. Like I really gave a shit about that.
Talk about remember when.
Yeah, I was up, dude. I'm like, I mean, this is like 2004, I think. But I even did security one time on like in 2007, 2008. I did a security gig up in Broadway. Like, I mean, just it's whatever. But I met celebrities a few times up close and had conversations with them. They're cool people. But the thing is you get to what I was saying is like you can have absolutely nothing and become somebody. You just have to have a good idea, a good personality, like good drive, like really put yourself out there. Like this day and age of like the internet, don't even look at the like if you look at the comments of people talking smack to you, you know what? Take it with a grain of salt. If you're pissing people off, you're doing something right. Well, let me rephrase it. If you're pissing everyone off at the same time, stop doing what you're doing. But if you have a large amount of praise and there's in comparison a handful of haters, you are definitely doing something right. Look at the numbers. That's just how it goes.
That's right, Ridley Scott. Look at the numbers.
Oh,
Sorry.
that guy. You can't call superhero movies when you're famous for making slow burners. Like, I mean,
He blamed millennials and cell phones for his current movie not doing well.
I saw The Last Duel. It was okay. It was slow as hell. But it was also a Ridley Scott film. But I mean, come on, Ridley. You can't sit there and say that your films are fast-paced action films or like super exciting to sit through and enjoy. I enjoy Ridley Scott films, but I enjoy them because I know what I'm going to go see.
I saw the trailer for it, and honestly, after it was over, I looked at my friend and I was like, wait, is this one of those fake movie trailers that they put in a movie to be funny? Because honestly, who would cast these guys for this type of movie?
I just love that parody. I love that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon were in it. Like, I mean, those two cannot be away from each other at all.
I saw Ben Affleck and I was like, oh, this is a parody movie, right? Right?
Oh God.
And Kevin was like, no,
it's a serious movie.
This is a Ridley Scott movie, and they seriously cast these people. I'm like, Adam Driver, I can see. Ben Affleck, I love Ben Affleck. Vince, my guy. But this,
yeah. I was going to say, if there's a butt coming in somewhere.
Anybody that knows me, especially anybody that's been listening to me for 10 years doing these things, knows that I'm a Ben Affleck guy. When he was announced for Batman, before it was even a thing, before the first
I was excited about that
was released, I was like, Batfleck is going to be awesome. And everyone's like, why? Why do you think this? And I said, because he loves Batman. Listen to Kevin Smith talk about Ben Affleck, talk about Batman is like crazy. Kevin Smith has that story about how he bought Ben Affleck's house, and when Ben was showing him around, he like pulls, something in his room. Anyway, and like a secret door opens, and Kevin Smith's like, "You have a bat cave," and Ben Affleck's like, "Yeah, I got a bat cave," and that's how I knew he was going to kill it. I didn't know that Zack Snyder would also have him killing pretty much everybody else on screen, as well as a few other choice decisions. That's redundant phrase right there, but yeah, I knew he would be awesome, and he was awesome. That was my favorite part about anything Zack Snyder related ever. I'm talking beyond 300. I'm talking ever. Ben Affleck is Batman. That's just my favorite Zack Snyder contribution to the world.
Yeah.
But when I saw Ben Affleck, my man, the original one half of Bennifer on that screen in this trailer, my mind was blown. I was like, this is not right.
Oh yeah.
There's something wrong here. This is not right. This can't be serious. This is a comedy. Tell me this is a comedy. Like, nope, it's a drama. It's a drama. It's a drama. Oh God. And then Matt Damon with that stupid helmet. Adam Driver is just a bomb. So people still say that, right? Yeah, who cares? But Adam Driver is. I've become such a big fan of his over the last few movies that I've seen him in, and for a while, like one weekend, I just started watching movies, and I'm like, hey, there's Adam Driver, and then I'd just randomly pick another movie, and it's like, hey, there's Adam Driver. I didn't realize that he was in all of these movies. And it's really weird that I would just randomly pick a bunch of movies that feature Adam Driver. But Ben Affleck's the man. And that's I think that's the long and short of it. Another guy that had a meteoric rise to fame, right? Had the voyage the voyage of the Mimi, remember that?
Yeah.
For those of you unaware, back in the 90s, there was, I don't know if it was in the 90s that it was shot, but they would show this show in classes on PBS called The Voyage of the Mimi, about this group of kids that's on a boat. I guess whale watching or something. And it was this series, and Ben Affleck was a part of that. And then, of course, he meets Kevin Smith and does Mallrats, which led to a leading role in Chasing Amy, where he would apparently try to ad lib, improvise, and Kevin Smith would say, "If you want to say your own lines, write your own damn movie." Which then he won an Oscar for writing his own damn movie, Good Will Hunting, which is really what propelled he and Matt Damon to the top of the pops. And now there's this thing with Ridley Scott. So Ridley Scott, read the room. People like superhero movies, it's okay. Millennials like their cell phones, that's okay too. What people don't seem to like is your movie. And maybe instead of blaming the audience, you take a look at the things they want and realize, so this isn't it? Hmm. But who am I kidding? Love to have you on the show, Ridley Scott, so you can berate me all you want. Because I'm definitely going to tag that in the promos.
Oh yeah, seriously. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to bring up tonight, though.
Nope, we've had an episode. We're 75 minutes in. We can call it a night.
Okay.
So I think the only question that needs to be asked is, Brandon, where can people find you on social media?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at bjacksman82, but you can also find our Instagram account for the WADcast. Just type in WADcast, and you'll see our black little circle with a white banner that says WADcast in it. You can find us on Facebook under facebook.com/the WADcast, where we post weekly updates. And that's where you can find me. So what about you?
Well, I've gone to the trouble of making everything very convenient to find, and you can find all of my information over at Babam, SimicoreStudios.com. All of the links to all of the socials are there, and that way, all you got to do is click a thing and you are there. That is also including the Patreon, which, if you like what you hear and you want to throw down a buck, cool. If you don't, cool. The show's still going to be here whether or not you donate money. I'm not going to be one of those guys that's like, it's because of you that we're able to do this show every week. No, I'm just as happy doing all of this stuff without the contributions. Would it be nice? Sure, but I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire to fund what is essentially us talking, even though we are good at it. You know what? Give us money now. What? Too harsh?
Yeah, seriously. Nope, because my OnlyFans is not picking up. So,
if you want something in return for money, then there's a merchandise shop with some pretty nifty designs for T-shirts and coffee mugs and mouse pads. I buy our stuff. I'd buy it because I do buy it. It's pretty rad. And every once in a while, you'll see Brandon sporting one of our awesome T-shirts, and you could sport our awesome T-shirts too. And if I'm not mistaken, there's a sale going on right now, so you might want to check that. Like I said, the link is right here at SimicoreStudios.com. All right. Well, this has been episode number 70, and I guess there's only one thing left to do. Final thoughts. What can I say that hasn't been said already in this very episode? I usually begin every week with the only thing getting in your way of your dreams is you. And for the most part, that is absolutely 100% true. We've talked about several people tonight that stopped letting themselves get in their own way and pursued their dreams, chased them down, and tackled them to the ground until it became reality. Because the people we talked about, they weren't brave in the sense of, I'm going to run into this building that's on fire and rescue a baby. No. They were brave in the sense that they took a thought and they turned it into an action that changed their lives completely forever. They took advantage of opportunities that came about. They said yes instead of finding reasons to say no. They made sure that the only excuse they'd have for not succeeding didn't involve a lack of effort.
Yep.
So keep trying. If it's what you want, you could act in a movie. I did it. And if I could do it, anybody can do it. So thank you all for joining us for WADcast number 70. We will be back next week with episode number 71, topic TBD. I hope everybody out there in Wonderland has a great week. And we will catch you on the flip side.
You guys have a good night.